US Pannu inputs impact our national security. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar on Thursday said in Parliament that India decided to probe the US information about the alleged plot to assassinate Sikh separatist Gurpatwant Singh Pannu because it had a bearing on India's own security, while reiterating that Canada had shared no much input or evidence about the killing of the pro-Khalistan terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar on its soil. Those inputs were of concern to us because they were related to nexus of originated crime, trafficking and other matters, he said, replying in Rajya Sabha. Because they have a bearing on our own national security, an inquiry committee has been constituted. Revant Telangana CM, 4 Reddys in cabinet of 12. Revant Reddy took oath on Thursday as the first Congress CM of Telangana along with his deputy, this and 10 other ministers, with the Gandhis and other Congress CMs in attendance. The first file he cleared was a 6th guarantee promised by the party. The cabinet has 4 members from the Reddy community, 2 each from SC and BC and 1 each from Brahmin, ST and Kamma and Velama community. 5 including Revant and Bhati are first timers. Sex ratio in city dipped to 929 from 932. The sex ratio at birth in Delhi dipped to 929 from 932 a year earlier, according to a report published by the Delhi government. The government also said the birth rate in Delhi increased from 13 per 1000 population to 14, while the death rate declined from 8 per 1000 population when the COVID pandemic was at its peak to 6 last year. In 2018, there were 924 girls born for every 1000 boys and 920 in 19 before climbing to 933 in 20 and 932 in 21. The report also revealed a significant jump in average number of births per day in Delhi from 745 to 823. 6 more cyclone deaths in Chennai. The death toll from cyclone Michong rose to 33 across 3 states, with 6 more fatalities reported in Chennai, where several suburban areas will waterlogged with people stranded in submerged homes. As carriers delay parenthood companies after fertility benefits. With growing number of people delaying parenthood to focus on their careers, several companies are offering employees fertility benefit programs with a higher limit of financial support required for such treatments. Experts say such support empowers individuals to take control of their career and life journeys without having to worry about the biological clock ticking away. More fossil fuels lobbyists at COP28 than reports from worst hit nations report. A record number of fossil fuels lobbyists are attending the UN Climate Summit, and their strength is higher than that of delegates from 10 most vulnerable countries, mainly small island nations, underscoring how industry presence is dwarfing that of those on front line. The climate crisis said the kick big population out coalition in its analysis released this week. The summit presidency said COP28 has dedicated spaces and platforms for all voices to be heard as a part of its commitment to delivering an inclusive conference. The KBPO coalition, comprising over 450 organizations worldwide, united in demanding an end of big polluters writing the rules of climate action, said fossil fuel lobbyists are only outnumbered by this from Brazil and the host nations. BJP has proved incumbency doesn't lead to defeat Modi. PM Narendra Modi on Thursday said the results of the recent polls in MP, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh has disproved the assumption that BJP's dominance was limited to the centre and did not extend to states, adding that the Saffron party, by virtue of its performance, has belied the notion that defeat was the inevitable consequence of incumbency. In comments that appear significant in view of the approaching Lok Sabha polls, Modi said in BJP's case the concept of incumbency disadvantage ceased to be the iron law it was supposed to be. Withering laws, roadside blues for greens. At Baba Ramdev Marg in West Delhi, on the stretch beginning from the crossing near Bharti Vidyapeeth College of Engineering, the trees on the footpath and central verge present a picture of contrast. While those on the central verge are in good condition, the ones along the footpath are withered. A look at the pits around the dropping trees shows garbage and a dry soil surface, perhaps the result of the road being illegally occupied by car repair shops and tea stalls. The situation is similar in most other places across the city, as Times of India saw during visits to many areas in the city on Thursday. Around 1 meter tall trees planted on the roadsides by order of Delhi High Court around June are struggling to survive. Ironically, found some trees near the High Court building uprooted, the metallic tree guards damaged, and even car parked in spaces where the trees were planted. A New Delhi Municipal Council office claimed around 5 of the 24 trees planted outside the High Court were damaged by car parking there. NDMC lodged an FIR over a month ago and informed the court. On the central verge facing South Extension Market, the trees don't even have leaves. The tree guards are almost falling on their sides, while discarded plastic cups, spoons, and tobacco wrappers soil the space around the trees. Near the Raghubir Nagar drain, the foot of the trees has piles of tiles and construction material. Symbols of Indian culture come alive as Burari readies for ABVP meet. On Thursday, the DDA ground in North Delhi, Burari was preparing for the 69th National Conference of the Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad. The tent city hosting the event has been named Indraprasth Nagar after the capital of the Pandavas and expect to have 8,000 students smiling around when the conference begins on Friday. The venue, replete with symbols of Indian culture, has been divided into 12 zones or nagars. Saffron flags adorn the area and balloons inscribed with 75 years of ABVP float in the air above the green carpeted venue. The student organization's conference will be inaugurated by the Union Home Minister Amit Shah on Friday and will conclude on December 10. An exhibition has been organized on the milestones in the ABVP's history. Professor Rajkumar Bhatia, former ABVP National President, and sculptor Naresh Kumawat inaugurated the Dattaji Didolkar exhibition on Thursday. There are models of the Ram Mandir and Akshardham temple as well as a statue of Rani Lakshmibai, before which the students present on Thursday posted for pictures shouting slogans like Jai Pratap, Jai Shivachar and Bharat Mata Ki Jai. Anjali, an English honor student at Delhi University, has an acrylic painting at the exhibition. Over 80 paintings are on display, with Vishwaguru Bharat being the overarching theme. She said, "My painting shows the Gurukul Paddhati. It's a reminder to revisit the ancient values of the sustainable development and environmental consequences." While last student Mano of Surat enthused, the Vishwaguru dream is coming true. The patriotic feeling is high. Prakash, a history MA student from Rajasthan, said, "I appreciate ABVP members wanting to devote their lives to the development of Bharat Mata, contributing to nation building, not necessarily only through politics but through other professions too." Civil servants required to be politically neutral, says Supreme Court, city's old ruling. The order was passed by a bench of Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud and Justices this on November 29, but it was uploaded on Thursday. The bench said the Chief Secretary was entrusted with significant functional responsibilities including overall administration, control and supervision over subjects like land, law and order and police, which were excluded from the legislative domain of GNC-TD, and said to top bureaucrats functions could not be bifurcated. While passing the order in favor of the centre, the court said, "We also deem it appropriate to record a few observations on the role of the Chief Secretary." The court in the 23 Constitution Bench judgment observed that civil servants are required to be politically neutral and must abide by the direction of the elected arm to give effect to the principle underlying the triple chain of collective responsibility. The post of a Chief Secretary is uniquely placed. The Chief Secretary performs functions which fall both within and outside the executive competence of GNC-TD. The Chief Secretary, though appointed by the central government, must comply with the directions of the elected government over matters on which their executive competence extends. The actions of the Chief Secretary must not put the elected government at a standstill. The bench further said, "We have come to the conclusion that at this stage, bearing in mind the principles which have been enumerated in the Constitution Bench judgment and the subsequent development which have been taken place resulting in the enactment of the amendment to the GNC-TD Act 91, the decision of the Union government to extend the services of the incumbent Chief Secretary for a period of 6 months cannot be construed to be violative of law." Day after day later, Supreme Court bar body reposes full faith in CJI. A day after, senior advocate Dushyant Dev wrote an open letter to CJI D.Y. Chandrachud pointing out irregularities in listing of some sensitive matters. Senior advocate and Supreme Court Bar Association President Adi C. Agrawala also wrote a letter to the CJI expressing full faith and confidence in the neutrality and unprecedented administrative skill of Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, and said assignment of cases is not open to questions on judicial and on administrative side. Agrawala in this letter addressed to CJI said the bar has full faith and reposes full confidence in the neutrality and unprecedented administrative skill of your lordship and other honorable campaign judges, as a result of which the administration of justice. It is for the first time in the history of Supreme Court that the last person standing in the queue has also given equal and full access to justice. After your lordship took over as the Chief Justice of India, all administrative issues has been streamlined, right from mentioning of matters, listing of cases and other issues concerning the registry. CDS pushes for reliance and domestic defense industry. India is making concerted efforts at manned unmanned teaming of military assets, especially in the aviation domain, which will be a key area in future warfare. Chief of Defence Staff General Anil Chauhan said on Thursday. The CDS, speaking to the Avionics Expo in Hindustan Aeronautics, stressed the need for domestic defence industries to develop advanced technological capabilities to address traditional and future challenges. India's challenges must be resolved with Indian solution, as a series of contemporary events have exposed the vulnerability of global supply chains, General Chauhan said. Asserting that the defense industrial sector has a large potential to achieve the country's economic goals, he said, global military avionics market is projected to grow $56 billion by 2030. This provides us a window of opportunity that needs to be exploited by believing in the mantra of Make for India, Make for World. HAL Chief CB Anant Krishnan in return said, Philippines, Nigeria, Argentina, and Egypt have shown interest in procuring the indigenously developed single-engine Tejas. Argentina, in fact, has asked India to submit a formal proposal for its proposal acquisitions of 16 fighters, in which the Chinese JF-17 Thunder and other foreign jets are also in competition. But Argentina has also insisted there should be no British origin parts in the Tejas jets, which its lingering dispute with the UK. ₹561 crore central project to help Chennai fight floods. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has directed the Ministry of Home Affairs to release in advance the second installment of the centre's contribution to the SDRF of rupees 493 crore to Andhra Pradesh and 450 crore to Tamil Nadu in view of the flood caused by the cyclone Michong, Union Minister Amit Shah said. In a post on X, Shah said the PM has approved the first urban flood mitigation project of ₹561 crore for integrated urban flood management activities for Chennai Basin project under the National Disaster Mitigation Fund, which also includes central assistance of 500 crore. Taxation must be friendly for green energy. Rajdan. Achieving the target of 50 gigawatt of renewable energy is imminent, experts and industry leaders said. Right to Excellence Energy Summit 23, they said the government and industry have stepped up their efforts to achieve the green energy targeted to reduce the country's dependence on the thermal power. Speaking to the event, former Union Power Secretary Anil Rajdan said that while India is taking major steps, the cost burden of transitioning from fossil fuels to renewable energy should primarily fall on developed countries and not just developing nations. He said that India is not just a buyer but a developer of renewable technologies through substantial investments in research and development. Rajdan, who is also chairman of Energy and Environment Foundation, spoke about the significance of ES in the broader energy context, emphasizing the necessity of energy and equity and the critical importance of efficiency. He said that catering to a growing nation's energy needs require a balanced approach, acknowledging the complexities involved in ensuring affordable energy for the entire population while navigating the challenges of government subsidies within the constraint of taxation. He said there is a need to pursue the policy of polluter pays while taxation should be friendly for renewable energy. India's fundamentals strong with all-round growth. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Thursday said the fundamentals of the Indian economy are strong and it is maintaining its growth momentum while asserting that the center has been clearing dues to all states. India's second quarter growth is the highest in the world as India continues to be the fastest growing economy, the third and the fourth largest. Economies have contracted as well as emerging economies. In comparison, India's over 7% growth is significant. The activities are all across the economy. It's not as if one sector is doing well. All sectors are growing and growing significantly for us to notice it, the finance minister said while responding to a short duration debate in Rajya Sabha. She reeled out a series of numbers from exports of direct taxes and GST collections to argue that the Indian economy was doing well despite the global headwinds. Sitharaman said that the growth was driven by urban and rural areas. All this is not happening only in metropolitan cities. Several things have happened in the rural areas. That's why our country is getting the best from rural areas and urban too, she said, while slamming the UPA for launching schemes without ensuring that the benefits reach everyone. Pointing to several schemes from Jan Dhan to Jan Oshadhi and pension, the Union Minister the minister said UPA had come up with various naam ke वास्ते schemes which were launched but not executed properly and hence didn't reach the common man, whereas the Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi led government not only implemented new schemes but executed them in such a way that they have made a huge difference to the lives of the common man. She also said that a series of steps taken in the government have helped cool down prices as compared data on price rise from UPA's tenure with the Modi government. Israel Hamas firing rockets from humanitarian zones as Israel's offensive pushes Palestinian civilians into ever similar pockets of land with scant supplies. The military said on Thursday that Hamas militants fired rockets from what it called humanitarian zones in southern Gaza, adding to concern that nowhere in the enclave was fully safe for civilians. The Israeli military posted map, satellite photos and a video that it said showed rockets had been fired towards Israel from multiple locations including Al-Mawasi, a barren area in Gaza's Rafah province that has become crowded in recent days as the Israeli forces have directed people fleeing fighting to go there. In its statement, the Israeli military said 14 rockets were fired from Al-Mawasi and surrounding areas from near tents and evacuated Gazan civilians in Rafah in southern Gaza and from next to Union facilities. Israel's account could not be verified. It was not clear whether Israel would now regard the area of legitimate military target. An Israeli military spokesman said he could not discuss future operations. Gazan were being updated frequently in various ways, but Israel's military activities, he said. But the Israeli claims about Al-Mawasi underscored the risk of so-called safe zones in Gaza, which the Union has opposed on the grounds that no one party to the war can unilaterally declare places completely safe. Presidents of Harvard, Penn, MIT under fire after dodging questions about anti-Semitism. Support for the presidents of Harvard, the University of Pennsylvania and the MIT eroded quickly on Wednesday after they seemed to evade what seemed like a rather simple questions during a contentious congressional hearing. Would they discipline students calling for the genocide of Jews? The replies to the question and other during a 4-hour hearing drew incredulous responses. It's unbelievable that this needs to be said. Calls for genocide are monstrous and antithetical to everything we present as a country, White House spokesperson Andrew Bates said. Meta makes encryption default on Facebook Messenger. Meta is rolling out end-to-end encryption for calls and messages across its Facebook and Messenger platforms, the company announced on Thursday. Such encryption means that no one other than the sender and the recipient, not even Meta, can decipher people's messages. Encrypted chats, first introduced as an optional feature in Messenger in 2016, which will now be standard for all users going forward, according to Messenger head. This has taken years to deliver because we have taken our time to get it right, Chrysler wrote in a blog post.